Are you nervous? What's up, y'all? Casey Ship here, creator of Hot Moms, and my husband Skip. As you know, I help women clear their success blocks, and really, I'm a fitness model specializing in hormones and all that stuff. Pretty life coach, like pretty much where you just get everything you want, and you have this deeper understanding and newfound power after working with me. That's why you see all these testimonials, and it's like miraculous shit. So we're just gonna start from like the first thing, because I've had so many women, not so many, but a few enough to actually do the video on, where they're like, "Well, I'm Christian, so I don't want to do chakras and energy work." And even had one lady say she was into holistic healing, but didn't know about energy work. I'm like, how? That's like saying, what analogy is that like?
Well, I think for a lot of, just the Christianity religion, it's not talked about at all. Okay,
so let me back up. So anyway, it's
all in the Bible.
So it's
just not talked about.
Right. So we're from Georgia. That's where we grew up. Very Southern Baptist. Sarah said, "Hey, what's up, girl?" So we Southern Baptist, man. We come from Southern Baptist, small town. I come from small town Southern Baptist, where it's like white and black people shouldn't be together. Gays, lesbians should not be a thing. You shouldn't get tattoos. You shouldn't have piercings. I wish you were black, just so I could really just kick it on in there, just to really prove a point to my folks. I'm just kidding. But that's my religion. Like that was their religion, that small town church. I mean, it was, they were, I don't even know if you'd call it racist, but it was just, that type of way, that type of
There's
thought.
A lot of local opinion.
Yeah.
That's backed up by very commercial lines of the Bible.
And they would be like, don't get married out of wedlock. Meanwhile, the same people are like fucking around on each other and emotionally abusing their kids. Like very small town, small shit. Just that's how I grew up. Skip grew up.
Now, and we can say that's traumatic to you. That religious atmosphere is traumatic.
It is, but you don't know it is.
Right. And then mine was the opposite. Mine was like, what was it called? Vacation Bible School.
Well, I did Vacation Bible School as well. I mean, I used to teach Sunday school, and I was in the Wednesday night classes. Like I loved all that stuff.
Man, we're going to fast forward a lot because, it all started making sense. What happened when I was 14, I didn't want to go to hell.
Okay, so yeah, let's just start there. So
mine was a fear-based commitment to the gospel that if I didn't do everything I was supposed to do, I'd go to hell. And that fit my rule-following ass. I needed to have some rules to follow, and I didn't want any damn person to tell me how to do it, and I could read it for my own, and the Bible was a good way to do that.
Yeah, it's very fear-based. I remember going to something called the Judgment House on Halloween, and it showed teenagers drinking and stuff like that, and they were like dying and going to hell.
But I really, really believe that if you didn't do what I did, you would go to hell, and that's where it got a little creepy.
Okay, and that's where also like the prayer that says, now lay me down to sleep and soul to keep and die before I wake. Like that's scary shit too, that mantra, the prayer that people pray, before you go to bed. That's very scary. Okay, another thing that is interesting that churchgoers do, and I used to do, is communion. You drink apple juice, grape juice, and eat bread or crackers as the blood of Jesus Christ. This is Southern Baptist. And the other thing was whatever. And I'm like, and you're telling me that meditation is witchcraft? And you are doing a ritual, acting as if you are drinking the blood of a human or a spiritual being? Excuse me? But did you think that then? Absolutely not, and here's why.
Of course you did.
It's because religion comes in at such an early age and controls you by fear. If you just look at the maps will tell you what religion people are. So usually wherever the part of the country or world you're from is what religion you're in. But where it starts is they get you young. From birth until about 7, you're in a hypnotic state, like you're like hypnotized. You pick
You're
up these
defining who you think you are.
right, and so that's why the church wants to get you in so early, when they're making you think that it's committing to grow up, and we all know that's bullshit, because if that was true, everybody that went to church as a kid would not suffer, would not have addictions, would have healthy bodies. We would have these things that
bring joy.
Right. So something's off there. But it's all fear-based, right? And so when you get in young, if you grow up, you're literally getting brainwashed. And while that's fine, there's a lot of different churches. And that's why I find it interesting that certain people have these certain beliefs, like, you can't be gay, you can't be lesbian, you don't need to mix ethnic groups and all this shit. And meanwhile, the other one over here is like totally freeballing it and just like hippie-like and wants to love everybody. So, there's a lot of gray area. But I just wanted to go over our stories, and you're going to be really, really shocked and surprised, and probably hear some things that make you want to laugh. But Skip, when I met Skip, he told me that, he goes, that stuff that you do is like not good. I don't know if he said devil or witchcraft. I don't think he said devil.
I've never used it.
Yeah. I think he just said, that stuff you do is not right. That's what he would say. Because I would go to a healer lady, a seer.
You told me that the seer described me perfectly.
Yeah.
And so I naturally came back with a safety net, because I didn't know you very well. And if your seer said that I was the exact person you were supposed to be with, I needed to put the exit out there for me, that, hey, that shit ain't always right. Like, it ain't.
Well, maybe
that's not good.
But
because then if you'd have been a quack, I could have been like, shit's nuts.
Yeah, right. And so then, which, by the way, nuts and seeing, like, thinking of spiritual mediums being like spiritual woo-woo, and that's not right, and it's devil. And I sit there and go, wait a minute. When I was in church, I believed that a man, human form, came from a woman that got pregnant by a ghost. Now, just take emotion out and be logical here. Got pregnant by a ghost. I'm just saying, this is like logical. This is like being logical here. But we're going back to I'm just saying, like, this is where double-edged sword here, because we're highly spiritual people, and we work with nothing but love. God, higher power, source, whatever you want to call it. Jesus, homeboy, man, Horus. We got Buddha. We got all the good peeps, man. But check the story out. So when I met Skip, he was like, yeah, that's not, all that. And he listened to Christian music all the time. And I was like, I made fun of him, because I was like, how do you get hype listening to that? How do you get like turned up listening to that? Like, because if I like any kind of Christian music, it's Southern gospel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all right. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so backing up, Skip, you guys, he has led thousands to Christ. He used to do
very evangelical.
I mean,
got really good at it.
Really good at selling it. And we had a massive.
But I didn't think I was selling it.
Right. And we're going to get into his story. We went through an enlightenment period that you're going to get a kick out of. It's actually really funny. But I tell them, let's just start.
To sum it up, if I was 14 and asked for an invitation, which, is I accept the invitation of eternal life or this or that, or to have Christ's blood.
Yeah.
It's actually an invitation to that enlightenment period, when you realize that maybe you may be a little bit crazy. And then that would be what I describe as that. And then wholeness kind of falls in after that.
We'll get there.
But
so tell us the story,
all of my explanation of any enlightened or spiritual aspect, my best explanation is through the realm of Christianity.
Okay, so he started at 14 out of fear, because he didn't want to go to hell. So then high school, tell us about sex, man. Like, tell me, his story is amazing.
Fair.
I know, but just walk me through it.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to claim that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it really, really good and try to do it better than anybody else. And it was just caught me before I had ever had sex before. So I was really, such a good Christian that, I didn't ever have sex in high school.
Okay, so you're afraid to have sex?
Yeah, and then I was afraid to get in trouble. I was afraid to have a bad reputation. I was afraid to do anything.
Because you thought you were going to hell?
No, and by that time I was just, well, hell, I never knew any point,
You just wasn't going to risk it.
Yeah.
Now, in that church, what kind of stuff did you do and lead? And I mean, tell me about you went to speak at Miami, and you've run, like, he went with Jeff Foxworthy and the pastor. Like, he was so deep into
did, Billy Graham. Like, I opened for Billy Graham.
Skip opened for Billy Graham. Do y'all know who Billy Graham is? I've got Billy Graham's book.
Okay, that's like credibility that you don't. I mean, just one little statement.
No. I don't think you understand. Some people go to church on Easter Sunday. This motherfucker
I got really good at it.
This motherfucker took it to a professional level.
From the deepest bottom of my existence, I thought that everyone needed to know what I knew and do what I do.
Yeah. So you shared the gospel, baby. I love it.
And I'm still speaking under the same conviction.
Absolutely.
Nothing's coming out of my mouth that I don't think somebody should know.
Okay. So, and now if you have any questions during all this, listen, this is for more healing to take place. This is for so that your prayers.
The blocks are hard to get through.
They are, but I want to tell you something. My Christian women and godly women that come into Hot Moms with an open heart to heal themselves back to wholeness become more influential in their church. They can give back more to their communities, and their prayers become more profound. Okay. So all of this is only to share my experience.
It's not a this versus that. It's almost a continuation.
This is an and. Yeah. This is an and, not this or that. Okay, so let's continue. So he's been at the top of the top. So let's talk about what was the transition?
From what?
I got baptized when I was 8. My story about getting saved and whatever testimonial, they call it testimonial, right?
Yeah.
Mine was actually a funny story, but a cool story. I still love Stevie Feckenhauer. You know that. Mm-hmm. Like, I love the pastor that was there at the Love His Church and everything. But anyway, I remember feeling the heart, my heart opening. And my mom and dad didn't go to church with me. My grandmother took me. And I remember when he would pray and all that stuff. And I remember telling somebody that I don't remember really getting up. I just remember it was like I was floating down to the altar. And I'll never forget, like, this girl named Tess, her mom is the one that helped me and all that stuff. And but yeah, I was 7 or 8. And I remember then my dad saying I was too young to know what it was about. And I was like, fuck that. I knew that my motherfucking ass floated to the front of the church. I floated down there. And it was a very spiritual experience, which now I understand that spirit is still that same spirit. I can access it every day, all day. And then I thought it was just this, it was this thing or whatever. But yeah, it was just that out of body experience where it's a heart led thing. But anyway, and then my baptism, I didn't bring any panties, so I had to sit in wet panties after the baptism. So that was my funny little story. But that's kind of how I got saved. It wasn't out of fear. It was simply like he was praying, and I remember just getting up and being down there in the front. And it was just like I do spirit work now and channel. I'm like, wait a minute, I just said what? What did I just say? You're crying. Why are you crying? Did I say something good? Okay, awesome. Like, that's kind of how it is. So we get married. How long were we married when we had the chicken strangled? What caused this enlightenment? Please tell me. Wedding rings?
No. It's like, let's see.
Which we sinned because we lived together.
But what didn't the rule following thing about Christianity at that point with me after I graduated high school and wasn't working in a church environment.
Yeah.
Let's just say you're not hanging around the people who would be judging you on how your behavior is because you have to be Christian.
Right.
And everything.
Which is why you adopted your daughter too, right?
Oh, yeah.
To be in the church. That's why he adopted this.
Yeah, and talking about it, like, I can't stress enough that the choice to discipline myself during those years under that doctrine, it paid off good for me.
Yeah.
Now, I like the behavior of it. I like a society, a Judeo-Christian society can work. That being said, the lifestyle that I was living and the happiness that I was living under was not matching the promise of a fulfilled Christian life. The happiness wasn't there. The happiness was there when I was, preaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I just turned the preaching of the gospel into the preaching of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it kind of got out of that. But the whole thing was when we lost everything.
Yeah, we lost everything in 2008.
Yeah.
And we had one car, which was my Tahoe.
Yeah, and I could only afford to get in shape. Like literally,
that's what it was. It was that's why we're here. It's fitness. We got.
Yeah.
I got in. Yeah. Okay.
And I was just like fat, just like I just
Hold
was.
on.
But for the first time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we were in Atlanta.
Up.
It's 2008. We tried to start a company like Uber Eats, failed horribly, and we had a beanbag for furniture. We were in such a bad. He had to borrow $10,000 from his mother to pay child support.
Yeah.
We were in a really bad situation. I was working at a restaurant. I'm not saying restaurants are a bad thing. I would go work I'm just saying I was waiting tables, and then I started working out down there, and I got really inspired when I saw Jamie Easton. Y'all know my story from the webinar, kcship.com/register to see all that. So I would learn, and I started shopping differently. I'm starting to tap in because getting in shape is very spiritual. That's why I don't understand people that is really holier than thou, and their temples are a wreck. Their health is a wreck. Something's off if that is the case. We are judging. I'm telling you the truth right here. So anyway, we get in shape, and it was a very spiritual experience for us both. Mm-hmm. And you lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
We started caring more about ourselves.
But I was doing church, and I was studying hard.
Yeah.
But I was studying from a broke perspective.
Yeah.
Rather than from a successful athletic perspective.
Okay.
Okay. So it got to that to where, and now I'm 20 years older?
Yeah.
I was 33.
Same age as Jesus.
Started preaching at 13. I mean, the story is like, it's close, but what it say, that's when I realized I would hear the red writing in the Bible. When I'd read it, I'd hear the red writing, and it would sound different to me. It really sound like a two-edged sword, to where he was telling me how I could be just like him.
But back up. After this Buckhead situation, when he lost 100 pounds and when I got in shape, we moved back to Kennesaw in Georgia, like Cobb County, if you know where that is. I don't know. And we started working at this Christian school.
Oh, that's right.
We started working at this Christian school because they had a gym. They wanted him to do baseball. And the deal was I could train some people there. We actually helped with their PE class. Mm-hmm. And it was a Christian school.
And I coached the baseball team.
And he coached the baseball team. So, I mean, here I am in a Christian school. It was whatever. I mean, we were that, right? We were that. And then, because while we were there. And that was the time also I was big into Joyce Meyer. We were going to church very actively. We were going to church, not like Wednesday night stuff at that time. We were just attending a Sunday school and going to church.
But we were pretty much probably about 8 hours a day, either listening to it or studying it or reading a book about it.
We were very, very into it. I had all the religious books. We read the Bible front to back. We were very, very into it.
And then Sid Arthur came in with that book.
Well, and then, that was when we moved. So being at the Cobb in the Kennesaw area, it was October. And I don't really know what started it. Skip I remember him meeting me in the living room, and he was like, did you say if you love me or something? What was it?
I said that because we had rings on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this promise that I made based on our whole wedding and our promise, our vows.
Yeah.
I felt like we're on sand instead of stone,
Don't know what made him feel that way.
I did. And then I also felt like I ripped my daughter out of heaven and all that.
So
that was about 3 days of that. No, that was, you're right.
Back up, please. It's a story told. Dear God.
Well, they'd believe it if you weren't sitting here with a timeline on me. I mean, what's the timeline really got to do with it?
Because it's a story, man. The story's great. So he meets me in the kitchen, and he looks at me funny, and he goes, hey, our wedding rings. And
I think I was crying.
Yeah, he was tore up about something. And also, my ass is hurting. My ass is hurting. Ass is hurting. All right. I didn't wear my wedding ring anyway because I was training all the time, and I kept it in a picture frame. I wore the band, and we needed money. And so I was like, dude, I can sell my wedding ring. So he's like, I think we need to redo this or something. And I was like, okay. I'm just sitting there like, okay. Apparently.
And I said, we don't have anything to split up, really. We don't have anything. If you want to leave out that door right now, you can, or you can come over here and hug me and things will get sideways.
Yeah, he goes, you can come and hug me. He was going through something, and I'm just like, all right.
Well, basically everything that I'd ever lived for in my whole entire life was seemingly falling apart from my eyes.
Okay, so we just hit rock bottom.
You're seeing your life before your eyes.
You hit rock. You just hit bottom.
Yeah.
You hit bottom.
Yeah.
And I guess you start questioning, your spiritual, like, is there really a God? Is there where's this?
You start trying to answer your own questions rather than having Rick down at the, church answer it for you.
No, that's what it was. I'm in the bathtub. We're talking about Johnny Hunt from Woodstock First Baptist. And Skip's saying something, and I wasn't as hardcore, like, religious as he was. I've always been a free thinker, kind of a rebel. Y'all know what's up. And because my life had been like, are you kidding me? No. So I'm in the bathtub, and something came up, and I questioned. Remember this? I'm like, well, then why does the church do this if this was that? I questioned, which the Bible teaches you not to, or the pastors in religion teaches you not to question. Why do they teach you not to question? Because it's control. It's a form of control. Hello. It's a psych op. I mean, that's what it is. So when we started questioning, Skip goes, fuck, I've never thought about that. So then we're kind of getting off into this philosophy thing, and we get into Socrates, and we get into this other shit, and like these deep philosophers, these old philosophers, and things. We start getting signs. We hear songs. We're like,
talk
dude,
about it constantly.
We're like upset.
I didn't want to see anybody go around anybody. Major trauma.
Oh, well, you know what it's like now that you're an empath, and y'all know what it's like when energy spikes up, or there's a collective fuckery, and you are also experiencing some of your own blockages. Like you have social anxiety, you don't want to go out. Well, we were getting hit with this shit. We didn't understand what it was, so we felt fucking psycho. We felt nuts. I'll never forget. We had a session with one of my clients we had to go to. We were scared to drive. We were scared to talk to people. We thought we had stumbled onto something. Like, we thought we were legit.
I thought we were the only ones that knew.
We thought we were going fucking crazy.
I thought I was the only one.
And we start reading the Bible. We start listening to shit. We start seeing stuff different than we've ever seen it. Like, wait a minute. I've never seen this. Holy shit. We even watched this one pastor that my dad watched. Turns out he's in like a cult. Seriously. He said, he is so fucking racist, y'all. He's from like this place in Oklahoma, Pastor Murray, Arkansas. And he would say things like, Adam and Eve, y'all, were white. And I was like, what the fuck are we watching? But that's like, we never saw that before. Like all this shit that we're seeing, and we're just seeing things so clearly. And really what it was the veil was lifted. Our third eye was getting like decalcified or some shit. We were activating our spiritual gifts. So we're starting to see the truth. We start studying, and all these like, emerald tablets and Thoth, and like going way back Egyptian days, and we're figuring all this shit. And the next thing you know,
and by the way, this took like 10. We're talking about 10 years of all this stuff. Well, I didn't know about Thoth and all that stuff.
Yeah, when we were looking at the philosophers and shit, was right there in the.
Oh, here I am doing the timeline thing. So don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so all this was happening, and this was the funny part. So Skip had a fucking golf tournament. We had so much social anxiety because of what we thought. Seriously, y'all, and I don't know if the internet was the way it was, but it's not like you could just go on Facebook and go, hey.
I was walking around and felt like people's faces were like, silly buddy.
Yeah, we could just see things. We were seeing spirit. Like we could feel things. We could hear it. We felt we were like the Antichrist. I'll never forget that one. We realized that in the Bible teaches in like Revelation, the Antichrist, the first one that comes and claims that he's Christ is the Antichrist. The second coming is the true God. And so we were like, hold up. Our first invitation to accept Jesus Christ into our hearts the first time.
And he said the only way was through him.
We've been worshiping the Antichrist.
Oh, damn, man, the whole time.
We were like, oh my God. And so
and then it was like the real one came in.
And here we are. And then we were like, we got to tell everybody. Remember our kids, we worked with like high schoolers, and we were trying to tell them like, y'all, think about it. The first time you got saved And the Bible says the first Christ that you're going to claim is the one is the Antichrist. But then, like, some people be like, oh,
no. At a Christian school. That's why I was like, oh, my God, I got to get out of here, man. Holy shit.
And then we went to a funeral and saw the pastor preaching, and the way he was talking, we were so fucking, we were like,
oh, we got to go.
Because we thought it was like, they all worship the Antichrist. No wonder it feels like this. They're sleep, they're sheep. What? We're going through all this shit. It gets way better.
Yeah.
But we were going, literally, you think you're nuts. And it's not like we could go on Facebook and say, hey,
like we're doing
now we know about manifestation, and we know, like, hey, we understand all this stuff. But when you're alone, we just felt alone. So then we ended up learning a little bit of stuff. Things changed, a little bit for the better. We ended up moving.
I can tell you, I felt like I was taken care of. Like, if I look back at our life, like, literally, we were taken care of. Almost like shit didn't happen to us if it was more than we could handle.
Right, but I remember
kind of the promise.
I remember the trust and the promise, and all this stuff. And spirituality in the Bible goes hand in hand. It's just like a book of parables. And I even quote a lot of biblical scripture in some of my trainings for women that are religious, because I think that wealth and abundance is very important, and understanding how to get in touch with yourself, soul, and heart to heal your shit so that you can go teach better in Sunday school and you're not broke and all this shit. But I actually try to get the scripture that corresponds to my teachings and put those in there for the Christian women. So we try to back it up biblically. But anyway, so doing all, going through this, we end up moving. We're a little bit deeper in it now. We find the secret. And when we found the secret, and that bitch starts talking in the beginning, and she's like, got the scribes out.
I'm thinking, like, how did they know? Is this one?
And she says that. She goes, I found out things that I wondered if anybody else knew this. And I'm like, how did this movie? It came out, 2012 is coming up, the big, awakening time that we went through, like just like December 2021 or 2020. So we find the secret, and we realized that they fucking knew what we fucking knew. And we were like,
and they didn't ask for an offering.
They didn't ask for an offering.
Anyway, yeah,
So we started reading books like The Richest Man.
I've never read so many books in my life.
We got obsessed with law of attraction and energy and the laws of success. Y'all, I read the laws of success. It's this thick, like a Bible. The laws of success. I mean, just Course in Miracles, all this stuff. Next thing you know, I've always gone to seers and healers and all that. Y'all know my story about the backstory with that. Skip did not. Okay. Around that time, my grandmother passed away, and I'm in the closet. In her closet, like, I don't know if they're saying, Casey, you can go in there and get that or something, but I'm in there, and I find myself talking to her. I can hear her voice, and I'm just talking back to her, and she's like saying, oh, Lord, this closet's such a mess. Jan, Robin got the shirts, and I was like, it's okay. And then I remember I told you, I was like, Skip. Like, I could hear names.
I mean, that wasn't the creepiest thing about that whole house in that day. I mean, it was like she was still standing there while we were talking to the other people.
Yeah, so I just had this experience, and I knew I had always had people tell me that I had a gift. I had these old psychic ladies, these old weird ladies would say, you've got the gift if you want to use it. And I was terrified. I was like, hell fucking no, I don't want to use that shit. Hell no, I ain't tapping into nothing. But they would tell me, like, you're very gifted. You've got the gift. You've got this. And then I'm like, I don't care. Tell me what's up. We can just leave that alone right now. Don't want to know about it. Don't want to feel it. Don't want nothing. I just shut it off. My life, and I'll say that if you are a light worker and an empath, and you're meant to be a messenger, a channeler, and it may be through nursing, it may be through your hair salon, it may be through working at AT&T, I don't know. But if you're supposed to be doing that type of work and you don't answer for the calling, life's going to be hard. You're going to continue to struggle. Like, I had a really bad, shitty, just shit, health, everything. So you really have to say yes to it, or else it's not going to be so fun. It's not going to be like to the fullest of the full. But anyway, so where are we now? Secret, law of attraction and all that. Figured out how to do that stuff. We went through all that, and it did. And it worked, but I didn't understand a lot of stuff. So yeah, the medium stuff. Okay. So then after the talking to my dead grandmother thing and telling Skip, which he never judged me. I would wake up. I always had prophetic dreams. I would wake up and go, Skip, I dreamed about this. And then it would happen. He'd be like, okay. And I'm like, I'm glad I told you. I always tell Skip my dreams. I knew something was there. I even in high school, I remember a friend of mine, or in college days, and I would call her and ask her something. She'd say, "Did I call you already? Or how did you know this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think I dreamed it." So I knew something was up. So after I did this thing with my grandmother that was dead, I was like, "Fuck it, I've got to contact somebody." Sure enough, I was driving around and I saw a sign that's like medium. So I pulled up my phone to Google that number or something. I ended up calling a guy. Well, the guy I called was not the guy that I wanted to call. It was, and he goes, "Well, it's interesting that you're trying to find that because I am a medium." And I'm like, "Well, fuck if this ain't divine, so let's just book a session." And that led into, starting of my spiritual journey and becoming like a healer, like stepping into my purpose, stepping into the healer that I am. That's where that all started. But he definitely said, he was like, "You're a medium from the word get-go." Taught me a little bit about it. Arthur, I talk about him, taught me level 1 Reiki and some shit like that. And there was some wild stuff, man. We learned about activating DNA strands and all that stuff, which is what we teach it now in Hot Moms. I just don't make it sound like that. I don't make it sound like we're going to, and it may maybe to you watching some of my shit sounds like that, but I don't say we're going to activate DNA strands. I do it through my energy and the trainings. But you don't know what we're doing. You just think that, oh my God, I figured out why I get stuck here. And now I'm free of that. So that's ultimately the thing. But now what I want to do is, am I leaving anything out? Each time we go through
there's a lot that went on.
Well, what else?
We went through the metaphysical stuff, all the numerology, like a lot of the different tools that ancient religions, current, philosophy, everything. We pretty much studied the footnotes on everything.
Mm-hmm. And like I say,
and it all kinds of blends together. Sometimes I'll use numerology, will stand out to me, and where it all comes together gets fun now.
Yeah.
But we had to learn all that.
Yeah, you do, and it helps if you have a spiritual teacher, because it can seem kind of freaky. But I think that this is another thing that another mentor of mine, Danny Johnson, she was a pastor. And she does the scary kind of stuff where she looks at and she talks and like touches people and they fall out. She was one of my, and I love her. Like she's great. But she even said something one time and I was like, man, that hits home. It's like you pray for something, heal this cancer, please send me somebody to lose the weight or get me healthy or whatever. And then here comes the coach, here comes Casey. And then you're going to say, well, I just don't have the money. Well, I'm scared that I'm going to fail. Dude, that is God working through somebody as a gift. So everybody has spiritual gifts. Whether they choose to use them or not is up to them, right? So that's kind of my thing. And I'll ask, the YouTube thing I did with Lindsay Day, I said, because she even's like, hey, Casey cusses a little too much for me. I'm Christian, but now we know why. She had a big trigger back in high school. Y'all could go listen to her story about the hot guy telling her that he really didn't want anything to do with her because she cussed. So that's where she associated cussing as a bad thing. So when she said that, I'm like, yeah, I can't work with you. Because if you can't get past fuck or me saying something like that, you're not going to be able to hear me, right? Even though my heart and the energy is the thing that heals. And I do work with loving energy because my intentions are always good and I always want to help people. Lindsay was able to see through that. And she goes, no, I trust that everything that you're saying. I just feel like I can feel it. I feel like God's using you to help me. And I'm like, yeah. So these other people that go and pray to their whoever that say that it's not a thing, who are they praying to if your God says yes but theirs says no? And she goes over that. She goes over that in the interview. It's on YouTube and my podcast. Let's look up Lindsay or something. Just look up religion and Casey ship or whatever. But so we got spiritual gifts, man, there's so much to this. And we're going to have actually a deep training on empath and stepping into that spiritual side of things and understanding it more. That's going to be in Hot Moms. I'll develop it and make it into a course. But I would say, what would you say to people that think this is witchcraft and devil worship? Like it's devil or witchcraft. It's just not of Christ.
They got to be open for it not to be either one. Just for it not to be either one. you know.
Meditating, which we go over how to meditate. Same thing.
I mean, it's a time that you get to reflect to whatever that is that you think with all the time.
But praying, man, is so empty when you don't know how to pray. Like,
well,
you're usually praying out of a negative space.
You can't be taught. You either like somebody can say they prayed, man, and okay, cool. That's awesome.
It got to the ceiling.
Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it's all, they used the term pray, and they may be freaking astral projecting all over everywhere and doing some major shit. And we're just caught up with the word pray.
But pray though.
Or meditation. That's why I like cussing. When things on the very surface of, we have an issue because of something very surface, something as small as just communications. If there's a problem there, then we're definitely not going to get deep into anything else, Mm-hmm. So,
one of my clients was molested at a church. Interesting.
I've cried the most in my life in churches. Sometimes for good, but mostly because I felt like shit about myself. And that's never led to good things. Me feeling shitty about myself causes more shit that I need to feel shitty about. And I'm praying the whole entire time that it stops until I start praying about something else. And
they feed on guilt. They feed on guilt and shame.
But it's just the same way everything else works. It's like there's a fear created and a solution provided.
And then too, I see a lot of Christian women.
All that realm.
They struggle with, well, I should be happy with what God gave me. God should be able to fix me. I think that's the problem, is you are looking outside of yourself to find the answers. That's the problem.
That's just what everybody tells us, is go within. It's on the inside,
And what do they say that God is? God is love. So fear, guilt, and shame, and scarcity and lack is everything but that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it can get so twisted. So that, let's see. Leaving them, what can we leave them with? I would say to start questioning everything. I think you need to start questioning everything.
And this is only if there's an issue. Like, I mean, hopefully this was just to say, yeah, but I can totally talk about religion and give value and just, and show where it's not valuable or where it leads people astray. But it's...
it's like the church too.
I can also show you the racket side of it.
I've got a guy in here. He helps pastors grow their social media following. And he's been struggling, man, like getting these pastors to even answer the phone. They no-show him. They're very disrespectful. And I was like, wow, you know what? What you're doing is a very high service, because certain churches are phenomenal for the community, where they accept everybody and they teach love. And it's there's a lot of churches that are like that. And by him not getting his work out there, I mean, it's not cool. It's been doing a disservice, right? And so these pastors, I'm like, they're not your people, man. But the conviction, like, where's the conviction? Do you want more people in your pews? Do you want more people in the seats? Do you want to help your community? Do you want to grow the business? Do you want more money? Because you can't help anybody being poor. Yet the church teaches, like the Southern Baptist little church where I come from, that money is bad and the root of all evil. I'm like, well, who the hell? Do you want more, people to tithe, or you want us to stay broke and stay little humble little sheep and feel bad about having money? Like, it's so twisted, y'all, because like God, love, money is an extension of just how you get to experience life. If you're a bad person, money's going to amplify that. It's like tequila. If you're a hoe, money going to amplify it. If you're a good person, money's going to amplify it. So yeah, there's just so much into the spiritual thing. But I think that if you are here yet reserved because of your spiritual beliefs, I think you need to question your spiritual beliefs. Get down to it. Start asking all those questions.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, because all you're ever going to do to really heal the way that we're talking, anybody who should be listening, is you got to just not deprogram, but reverse engineer what got you to where you are, to realize the gifts were there the whole entire time. You just didn't see them and couldn't use them right.
Lauren said, I was always taught to never question religion or I'd go to hell. But
you see, me too, man.
She goes, no one knew the answers and shame me. It's a very manipulative, dark energy.
Yeah, if I don't get a shot, I'm going to kill people. But it's the still same stuff, man.
But you heard the beginning of the tape, this recording, Lauren, is, you sit there and look, okay, the Bible teaches the first one that comes is the Antichrist. And the second one is God. And I still think I still think people though really think that he's going to be like literally coming out the clouds. I know I did. I thought literally like a man.
Me too.
And like the same thing I thought.
I ate a chicken one time that wasn't strangled right.
God, he went to play golf when he had this. We were going
to man, and I was so scared. You were about to tell this. I was going and I was scared, man, because I didn't know golf was the last thing on my mind, plus being around a bunch of guys. And I felt funny. Like I was screwed up. And we had been eating like so special stuff, and this was like chicken from like Olive Garden or something.
You mean Whole Foods? Oh, no, at the golf tournament. Yeah.
And then when we got home, and you were telling me something about some certain chicken, and it was within this. I did all this map work with numbers and shit, and felt like something was going to happen in the next 24 hours or something.
No, in the Bible it's something about a strangled chicken.
Yeah, that was, I read that, and then I was like, I didn't know if the chicken from Olive Garden was prepared right.
Kosher. He didn't know if it was kosher.
But it's something like that, man. And this is obviously, hopefully people are laughing because that sounds really stupid when I say this, but that damn night we didn't even fall asleep. We're both laying there, and I was so damn sure that the damn heavens were about to open that night. There was something astral, because I'd read something about some astral setting. And then remember that car slid on the brakes? Went, and I was like set up real fast. I thought freaking the veil had just split and the white horses were coming through. That was fun.
We also, in everything that happens in my hometown, even like right now with COVID and with the politics, like you'll hear my grandmother, she'll be like, I think the world's ending and the Lord's going to come back. That's what they think. But it's your world. Yeah. It's not the world. It's your world. I say this all the time. Change the world. Changing the world is changing your world. Look at a woman when she posts about her kids. She goes, this is my whole world. That's right. Your world is within you. It's when you have your expiration date and everything is you. Everything is you. God is you. You are you are the source of everything. Infinite intelligence. This thing right here. Nothing's outside of you. There's no heaven or hell. Deal with it. Ask questions. Ask a shit ton of questions. So that's kind of our story. And if you want,
vocabulary is a good place for me. I love language, how vocabulary is put together, and what was the translation of this.
Oh, and I'll tell you where heaven and hell is. What's that song? Ooh, baby. Do you know
last
what
night
worth?
When you were chewing me out and fighting with me, that was hell.
Right. Hey, what's that song? Ooh, baby. Do you know what that means? Heaven is a place on earth. Heaven and hell is a state of mind. It's a state of being. Like certain people live in hell right now. I lived in hell.
When you heal trauma, you're going through hell.
Being in trauma, growing up, being not healthy, being broke, being confused and frustrated, anything low vibrational that's on the frequency of like a low vibe. Yeah, resentment, fear, lack, scarcity, jealousy, comparison, feeling embarrassed, all that. It's all negative. It's all low vibe. And you can just call it what my Christian women do. They call it the enemy, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you're in hell right now. You ain't got to die to go there, baby. Wake up. Look, you're in fucking hell. So you can also go heaven. Remember we were like, oh, dude, heaven's here. Heaven is a state of mind. Absolutely. We could go on and on talking about spiritual realms and shit, but we don't even want to go there because it's the free group. I'm just kidding. We could go there because that's not something I teach in Hot Moms. Yeah, we don't have to go there tonight. We can do a part two.
The purpose is I'm an expert at my life. Yeah. And I can share it for what it is. But
it's just like Renee said. She got started in African religion and got introduced to everything that way. Now she's just coming into, what do you call it, Judeo-Christianity? Mm-hmm. Right? She's just now coming to that, and she's trying to tell me about Jesus. I'm like, Renee, I grew up with Jesus. Like, I got you. So been there, done that. Got the T-shirts for. I like what is it? Is it Hindu or Buddhism? Which one do I like the most? I'm the omnist. How you say that? Omnist.
I mean that there's We reached a part in our Christian study where Sid Arthur sounded just like, and then when we got to Hermes and Horus, Hermes is even older than that, man. And then Metatron, when you're doing Metatron, all these are just
forms of Jesus. Like Jesus is not the only Jesus. There's
forms
Horus,
of that connection.
Yeah, there's always a spiritual being that came to save the people.
The story of a transformation, similar from
the third day, the whatever. It's all that, which really goes back to a great movie that if you want to know more about this, to go Zeitgeist. The beginning, I wouldn't watch the whole movie because it's a little long, but the beginning of Zeitgeist.
Yeah, that's good.
The beginning of Zeitgeist, dude. Would you have loved to fucking found that when we found the secret?
Yeah.
It would have explained.
You know, and I can also tell you, and we're messing up doing this, I think, because everything that meant something to my happiness and the way of thinking that I have right now, it's not a belief system anymore. It's just a way that I think. No one suggested do it this way. No. Like I found there'd be times I found Eckhart Tolle, and we found all these people. Tolle,
yeah.
You know,
that's a good book.
Told me to.
That's a good book. What is that? The Power of Now?
Yeah.
Read. That's a good one for you.
And he's got a couple others, but it's also
he's so weird. I can't get into his shit, but it is a good book for those that are wanting to know more about spirituality and how it blends with religion, because it all goes together. Because the good part of religion, that's what I say, it's the same light, different lanterns. The good part about religion is love. That's it.
Yeah.
Love. That's it. Anything love based. So yeah.
And you're looking, the goal hopefully is to have the happiest times of your life, you know, replayed and maintained.
Here on Earth. Yeah. You don't have to wait till you die.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a vacation. It can be every single day.
Right.
You know, if the sun sets, like that was always
it's
happy
a state of mind.
That we get to see one every day now.
It's a state of mind.
Yeah.
Or you could just do some DMT, ayahuasca.
I wouldn't, and if you do read the Bible, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no.
I think that's like the tree of life. You don't eat from that or the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do no psychedelics, man. I'm already psychedelic up here. You know what I'm saying? Renee said she did it. She said she talked to Jesus.
You will, but then and then all of a sudden, like, how we gonna have to do it again to do it every single time?
Yeah,
it's a drug, man.
Hey, so was there an Adam and Eve on every continent to make all these different races? Hey, what's that? Oh my God, Skip! What is that thing that says we're here from? If we're here from Adam and Eve, like they had 3 sons. Think about that.
I didn't remember that. Yeah.
Lauren, mind blown.
Cain, Abel, and Seth.
We're here from Cain, Abel, and Seth.
Yeah. But no, Adam and Eve does an incredibly good job at explaining feminine, masculine principles. And if you understand, you can read right back through the Bible and go, okay, I'm not.
She's laughing at us. She goes, right? Exactly. I'm not atheist, but there is an atheist page, y'all. I will piss my pants on some of the shit he posts. But I'm not atheist. Like I have atheist people that I know, and I love them. It's nothing against it, but
no, there's plenty of humor that comes from the literal meaning.
The literal
of these stories.
God, the literal. It's like
it's so funny. Like when you do, because it's like, yeah, you're right, man. But
you gotta go, Lauren. It's hilarious. It will make you laugh because you sit there and go, "Damn, that's funny." That's because it is.
I'm not good with titles, so I'm not atheist. I'm not godly.
We just love, man. If it feels good, if it's of a higher vibration, if it's expansive, if it's exciting and joy.
There's a different smile with love, and there's a different smile with a vindictive smile. And
or a fake Christian-y smile like, "Hey, girl, this is a wonderful day." There's spiritual people like that too. Like, "Oh my God, did you meditate and drink your green juice? Oh, it is a great day today. Self-love. I want to go."
And then I'd be like, "Dude, what are you talking about? Oh, you're just not at my level yet.
You're just not in love with life." I'm like, okay.
You say some shit like that to me last night. We were fighting that I'm just
He's not over that
yet. Your level yet.
He's not over it. Is in processing trauma. He's not over it yet, y'all. You see that?
I still have little bitty triggers,
you
man.
See that? It's
little
okay.
ones.
But we're going to get through. I was like, we're going to be riding down the damn road, and then he going to reach over, and we're going to have a little conversation. Look, namaste, LOL. Yeah, no shit, right? Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Mm-hmm. But hey, this is the time right now where everything's crazy and going, if anybody follows, like, what would you call that shit that I watch?
Which part?
Just like government shit and laws and the mask and all that stuff that I kind of follow. And then all the conspiracy theories. Like, I love all that shit.
And I don't. He gets too far, man.
I do, man. But what I do is I see these people's lives that they're going through, man. And it's like you got religious wars that'll be fighting forever over the Middle East. Or were we just told that? And then why do we Americans, man, we're buying the missiles for both sides. And we're supposed to be the Christian nation?
Well, that's just like they told one of my students, Lisa.
I just think
look, they told Lisa, a girl on her profile said, I can't believe you're friends with that girl. She's like a Wiccan. She practices Wiccan stuff. I'm like, well, why don't we just hang her to be more godly like?
I know. See, that's just we don't worry about that anymore.
That's like that man that follows me that wants to like rape me and kill me or something. He's got Jesus stickers all over his background and asks me if I believe in Jesus. Well,
and a white man, the handyman. He's a handyman in a white van.
He's a
named Dave.
He's a rapist. He's with y'all. But that's got. I mean, I ain't buying that shit. If that's Jesus, y'all keep it. That's the Antichrist.
What in the world? You get all right, y'all. She starts going off on the shit to the point.
I'm joking. I don't even say Antichrist. How often y'all hear me? I don't say that word. I don't say that word. Let's just say rabbit hole conspiracy theory is my favorite. Well, Lauren, you and Skip y'all can fucking DM each other all you want.
July 4th coming up.
Just
fake alien invasion.
No, where can she?
It's coming. They're gonna memorize.
Find him on TikTok and Instagram. Skip Ship, Lauren. He'll be in that shit.
You gotta
all day.
message me because I don't like.
Jen said, "Yeah, holy wars." Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
no shit. It's the end time type.
There's no wars in love. There's no war. So what does that tell you?
Oh, you get back like, that's fun to. It coincides. It's so like, where did we get religion from?
Yeah. Wow, and people were probably logging right now going, what the fuck? This is supposed to be fitness. Well, it is. It's a lifestyle.
It's what happened when I got my ass in shape.
That's right.
I started caring about my health, not just getting in shape because I played baseball. I was in shape.
You go fuck around me and get woke.
When I started trying to really give what's best for my body.
Yeah. When you start loving yourself, you allow love to come in, and guess what?
Takes over, and all of a sudden you realize that you just got that invitation that you asked for back when you were 13. Yeah, it just happened. That's, I think, why they say you can go and the person laying right next to you won't. I think it's like that's when you roll over and go, dude, I'm thinking a little weird.
Revelation, reveal.
Yeah.
Revealing.
So. Yeah. Anyway, that's all
that. Y'all had fun.
Yeah,
that was
there's more stories to it.
There's so many fucking stories, y'all.
Yeah.
And you can always increase your gifts. We're just going to think of the spiritual questions you have. Send them in. You can comment under this thread or just send them in to support@hotmomslifestyle.com. If you're too embarrassed, or maybe DM us about it. Hey, we'll go over it, man. We'll go over it. But don't be trying to DM me trying to prove a fucking point, okay? I will not answer your ass. This is not a this or that. This is not a am I right or wrong. If she's saying this, I must be wrong. I can't be wrong. So let me prove her wrong. Fuck that shit. No, this is about allowing yourself to receive healing through fitness and nutrition and hormones and learning about yourself because you are an energetic being. You are a spiritual being. Energy. An energy. There's energy. That's what we heal. Energy is thoughts. Thoughts become things. Thought has energy, an energy frequency that it produces. I teach you how to think. I teach you how to produce new vibrational thoughts and frequencies. Okay, That's it. There's we don't fucking sacrifice baby goats and dance around. I mean, I like to dance around a fire, but we don't do all that shit. We don't do that shit, man. No. She goes, hey, what's a male version of Will I Ever Be Good Enough? Oh man, Skip, what's a good book for men who've been abused? Probably look into the Alice Miller collection, Jen.
Abuse that's been abused.
like
Like,
grew up with maybe a father wound. It's just father wounds, pretty much. I would just Google.
if it's just masculine wounds,
Yeah.
you're not gonna find better content than Jordan Peterson right now. Dr. Jordan Peterson. You will not, a man like me, and not even a man like me, somebody that has masculine, that grew up where masculine was a big deal, or either, I don't know. Jordan Peterson right now, you can just turn him on YouTube, and most men will fucking love listening to him.
She said narcissistic parents. So for that, Jen, Google Healing the Father Wound, books for that, and also Alice Miller. She's got a lot, and it's in the book club. Or we could talk about it in Hot Moms too. But if you go in the book club, I've got a lot of her titles in there. She is really good at this religious stuff because she calls it something, but explains why it's so hard to heal when you're brainwashed through religion, because you're always seeking something outside of yourself. You're always seeking approval outside of yourself. You're always seeking answers outside yourself. You're always doing things for this other thing. She goes over that, but she does talk a lot about gifted children and then sensitive children growing up being abused. Alice Miller, that's one of them. But look, she's got a lot of titles. She's got a lot. Other than that, there's a few male profiles. Maston Kipp is one. He's kind of a liberal guy on there. Teaches a lot about trauma. It's following Maston Kipp. Sarah works with him. Sarah, she really likes Maston Kipp.
It's a cool name.
And then there's another guy too that I follow that's so fucking good.
Alan Watts.
That's not narcissistic abuse.
He explains everything.
He's a philosopher, and I can't stand it.
She's never given him a chance.
I have the philosopher. I don't even. Nope.
Alan Watts.
She said perfect. Thank you. Awesome. 3 people left. Awesome. I think we're done. Be on the lookout for the woo-woo spiritual shit. Like, we can go real deep. I've got some girls that have questions about spirit guides and channeling and how do you know.
You're going to hear a lot of these phrases and these terms and everything in mainstream coming up.
Okay.
So we might as well start talking about a lot of this.
Well, there you go.
Stuff.
Well, you're a woman. We're innately, our abilities from birth, being a woman, as one of them is intuition. So, and using our heart in love. So when we live in fear and scarcity and lack, we're literally we're like an abomination to our kind. Like, it's just not good. It's not good. So she goes, totally agree, Skip.
Yes. So come on.
This is why you need to be talking on camera, because when I don't agree with you, Jen will agree with you. Somebody will agree with you.
Who was it, Jen?
Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Which Jen?
Jennifer. Jen Newsom. Brown. She's Hot Moms.
Sweet.
And then
Thank you, Jen.
Lauren's going to be fucking with you in a DM. She's a nut. She's so funny. She's funny. She needs her own, podcast. They're laughing. Awesome. Cool.
Hey, I'll answer too, man, because all I do is talk to Waylon all day. I'm usually, if I'm actually texting or something, it looks like I'm doing something, and it's good.
If you've got any question, post it here. Look, it's all about healing. It's all about getting through these damn blocks, man. There's something blocking you. Start asking questions. Start reading some books. Watch The Secret. Learn about energy and law of attraction. That's a great place to start. And have fun going down that rabbit hole and getting to know who you really are and who you're always meant to be. All right. This will be on a podcast, on Hot Moms Podcast. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you see it on there, like, subscribe, tell your friends. And then if you want to work with us, CaseyShip.com/book a call, and we'll see you soon.